Back at it, are we? Hey everyone, how you doing? So, zombie smell. Yeah, I don't think that statement is exactly any big shock to you guys, but with that being said, I still decided to cover the hypotheticals for how every zombie smells in the PVZ franchise for my previous video, which was not easy. You try ranking all 160 plus hero zombies, you'll see how much of a tall order it is. And yet, we have more. So many more. Because in today's video, I want to rank the smell of every single Chinese zombie in the PVZ franchise, and then some. You might not think that's too bad, but look at the video length. Oh boy. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so let me start off by saying that I highly recommend you watch my first video on this topic. I'm still about to explain how I'm going to rank every single zombie and all that jazz, but it's a much easier thing to digest if you watch the other video first, especially since many of you already know the international zombies. I doubt you know this guy though, but if you decide you don't want to watch that, it's fine. It's not like this is in any particular order anyways, so here's how this is going to work. Because we have no metric on how real zombies smell, we have to look towards inferences that can be made on a zombie's design and maybe an almanac entry too. This is how I'll dictate which zombies smell like garbage and which ones smell like fresh daisies on a breezy spring morning. So as an example, let's look at the brown coat zombie from PVZ1. He dresses reasonably well, and while he's rotting, he isn't exactly the type that looks to be sweaty from running or like radioactive. So by my standards, he would go in the second tier of my list. And as for those tiers, I have 5 tiers to rank all zombies. The first is bottom tier, called smells fine, which is basically the I could reasonably put up with this tier. Stuff like Zomboss tech would be here, if there's any Zomboss tech in the Chinese games that doesn't come from an older era at least. Next up is only smells undead, which is what I would call the brown coat tier. This one just houses regular zombies, like maybe they're a newspaper and that kind of thing. The tier above that is Minecraft hoodie with Axe body spray, which is probably the most self-explanatory tier on the list. Any zombies that exercise or just seem stinky are going to be in this tier at a minimum, with the next tier, please take a shower immediately, housing the even stinkier zombies and animals too, since rotting animals smell awful. And finally, we have borderline radioactive steak, which is mostly a joke tier, but there might be a zombie or two sitting here that would make sense. Okay, got all that? Now that you understand the very basics of what to expect, let's jump right into the zombies in the video, starting off with okay, we're starting off the list with every unique PVZ1 zombie, which is more than you think. It's actually more zombies than base PVZ1, so we have a lot of ground to cover. 3 games in fact. These games in order are PVZ Social Edition, PVZ Endless Edition, or Dragon Palace if you're that kind of person, and PVZ Great Wall Edition. In a video I made a few years back, I actually put these games in a different order, but as it turns out, Great Wall Edition got the content of Endless put into its game, and then Endless just kept getting supported afterwards, which is why we have this thing now. The Chinese games will never not fascinate me. I also think it's important to give a distinction on all of these titles before we really dive in, since I'm sure a lot of you don't actually know what these are, and it's interesting to talk about. So, Social Edition was an online PvP version of PVZ1. You would rack up points and try to get high scores, but you could also play levels normally too. It was really odd, but it seemed neat. Endless Edition is similarly interesting, as it was basically an expansion to PVZ1. This game added a ton of new levels, also some new plants and new zombies too. Now, granted, the new plants were just from PVZ2C, mostly. We don't hear from this little guy anymore. Please call us, we miss you. But regardless, it's still a very interesting game. Great Wall Edition is also interesting as it's a complete reskin of PVZ1 with a Great Wall aesthetic. That's about it for this one, besides more content. So now that you understand the basics, let's finally dive into the video. Starting with Social Edition, we don't have that many zombies here. Mustache Zombie is our first real zombie of the video, and that dapper mustache lands him in the brown coat tier. I'd say it fits well. Talisman Zombie is next, and I guess also brown coat tier for this guy. He kinda creeps me out. Then finally we have Rabbit Imp, and if you watched my last video, my sentiment has not changed on imps. I think they all desperately need showers, so congratulations! You're the first shower tier pick, Rabbit Imp. You are stinky. And that's it for this game. Yeah, this was the tamest one, oh boy. Next up is Endless Edition, which is a much more interesting game since these zombies are mostly based off of the Chinese story, Journey to the West. Starting off strong, Flying Imp. Shower. This one should not need an explanation. Spider-Woman Zombie is next, and I would also say she's a solid shower tier. It's mostly the spider fit that has me on edge, despite spiders not smelling bad. I don't know, she gives off that stank energy. Skeleton Demon Zombie is also in that boat, for different reasons. She emanates the stench of rot, look at her hair. Yellowbrow's Gargantuar is also here, and no, shower immediately. Red Boy Imp is also going in that tier, we just have a lot of these now. Ox Demon King Zombot is here, and this bad boy is going into Smells Fine tier. This Zombot might seem a little unorthodox to add in this tier, but a lot of it is metal, and I very much doubt that fur coating wasn't at least cleaned once while being built. So yeah, our first fine zombie, good job. Next up is Conchhead Zombie, which is kinda making me wanna say Minecraft hoodie tier. It's a really interesting design. I don't have much else to say. Turtle Chancellor is in a similar boat, but he dresses surprisingly dapper, so he'll go into Brown Coat tier. Sorry about that. Lobster Head Runner Zombie, Crab Imp, Seahorse Pogo Zombie, and Fish Thrower Imp on the other hand, shower, all of you. They smell like dead fish. Dragon King Zombie is the final of the zombies for this game that are somewhat normal, and based off of its design, it's going in the Smells Fine tier, since I put PVZ2's Dragon Mech in the same tier. I think. If not, my bad. Oh, also, we have the original Fisherman Zombie, which is still one of my favorite trivia pieces for this franchise. He actually exists? So, for that reason alone, he goes a tier higher than his brother from another mother, and sits in shower tier. Moving right along, our final PVZ1 game on the list is Great Wall Edition, and this one is a doozy since every zombie was remade. All of them. Oh no! Commenter Zombie and all variants of him are ranked together, since I doubt there's a difference between one with a door and one with a goose tube. Regardless, Brown Coat tier. Pole Zombie is going in the Minecraft hoodie tier, which I mean, do I have to explain? Saturn Peach Zombie is going in the Brown Coat tier, but bonus points for using a peach instead of a newspaper? That's unique. Marshall Zombie is the epitome of the middle tier. Same with the Taoist Leader and Kid Taoist Monk Zombies. Snorkel Zombie is Snorkel Zombie, middle tier. Oil Truck Zombie is going in the shower tier, because oil smells so ugh. Oil Truck Zombie team also goes there, but this one's definitely a preference, since I know some people actually like the smell of oil, which, I mean, more power to ya, but it makes me nauseous, so moving on. Carp Raider and the Carp are also going in that tier, but I mean, like, that should make sense to you. It's dead fish and all that, yeah. Firecracker Zombie is surprisingly only going in middle tier, as there's no craziness with this design, unlike the PVZ1 equivalent. Kung Ming Lantern Zombie is going in the shower tier because, look at them. Tutagong Zombie is also going in that tier because, look at him too. Pogo Zombie is going in middle tier. Flower Thief Zombie is going in the shower tier for the implications of being a thief. Ladder Zombie is a hard worker who gets middle tier. Catapult Zombie looks really middle tier. Gargantuar and Imp can't be separated and go together in shower tier happily. Emperor Zombots is going into Smells Fine tier, especially for this fit because it kinda goes hard. And as for the extra zombies in this game, Encourager Guard goes into shower tier, Wraith Zombie goes into Smells Fine tier because apparitions probably don't smell, and finally, Assassin Zombie goes in middle tier. He might shank me if I put him lower, this is a safe bet. And that was the first 3 games. That was a lot on its own, and we have a lot more. I'm very concerned. But with that being said, all we can do now is continue onwards, with our next game being So, PVZ Online was a really interesting game. Honestly, I still feel the need to eventually make a video on what this game really was, because there was so much to it. For those who don't know, Online was made to rival a bootleg PVZ game, and it worked for like 3 years until it closed its doors. But it's still somewhat playable to this day, provided that you understand how level editing works. But with all that aside, this unique game had some unique zombies to boot, so let's talk about them. Starting off with the King Shi Huan zombies, Sergeant Zombie and all of its variants are ranked the same, in middle tier. I'm not gonna lie, these guys don't look like they shower that much. And I feel a similar way for the Flag Terracotta, the Cavalry, the Archer, the Shield Guardian, and the Drunk zombies. Hawker Cart and Zombie Piggy are both exceptionally smelly and go in shower tier for their stink. And finally, Emperor King Shi Huan himself is going in middle tier. I don't really know how to feel about him. Huh. Moving on, Ancient Egypt was the next world in the game, and it introduced the Desert Death Zombie and the Sphinx. Desert Death reeks, going into shower tier, and the Sphinx is just a structure piloted by random zombies, which are presumably the mummy zombies from this world, so therefore shower tier. Pirate Seas brought a really unique cast of extras because they lean so heavily into the pirate aspect, and I love it. All 3 editions go in shower tier, don't get me wrong, but I adore the creativity of their designs. It's honestly incredibly cool, and I'm a bit sad they're all locked to this game. Far Future was next up here, and this world was... Okay, I think you should just see the zombies. Astro Goop Zombie is going into borderline radioactive tier. What is this? What am I looking at? I can't make sense of it. Mechanical Wolf Zombie is going into Smells Fine tier, along with the Harvester Zombies, but before I say my reasons, look at the designs. That's all, I just wanted to show that in the video. For reference, in my previous video, I made the inference that all Far Future zombies probably smell okay, since it's the future. So that logic is being used here too, and besides that mystery goo zombie, the other 2 are going in bottom tier. And finally, for the main worlds of this game, East Sea Dragon Palace was never finished apparently, or if it was left on a cliffhanger because there's no boss. Regardless, every single zombie in this world goes into shower tier, 0 exceptions. It doesn't take a genius to see how. Fish are dead, and so are the zombies, who happen to be wearing mostly dead or zombified creatures, so yeah, no. Oh, and to round things out, King Shi Huan Mausoleum Zombot goes into brown coat tier for the open air design that gets all the zombie musk in it. Rabbit Zombie goes into shower tier for reminding me of that one bunny from Animal Crossing. Gross. And Moneybag Zombie is funny, so brown coat tier. And that was PVZ Online. A bit shorter, sure, but I still had a lot to say about the zombies that featured in it. And with that being said, next up is a real hassle of a game which many refer to as... This game is weird. This is the first game where I actually think some zombies are worth skipping, since a lot of them are really similar to other zombies I've covered in the past. You're gonna see exactly why soon enough, but if you want to know what this game was, it was a turn-based auto-fighting game, sort of like Angry Birds Epic, if I had to really put my finger on what exactly it was like. It's one of those games where you watch it and you're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But anyways, let's get into the zombies here because holy crap, these guys are weird! Trucker Gargantuar is the first on the list, and this guy is an easy shower tier for the concept alone. It's not like that really matters though, because he's joined by a different type of prehistoric zombie that's not from Jurassic Marsh. Yeah, so this game kind of just made their own, and this is not an isolated case either, you'll see it later. All of these zombies go in the shower tier, which might seem like a cop-out, but you have to consider that this is a long video, and I'm not giving an explanation for why Mammoth Rider Zombie is in the second to last tier. Be real. Some great wall zombies appear here, and we'll skip all except the unique ones. So Broadsword Zombie is in middle tier, Spear Thrower Zombie is in that same tier, War Chariot is probably going there, maybe, and Round Hammer Gargantuar is going in shower tier. Hero Cleopatra is going into shower tier, but honestly, I think there's a good argument for her to be in the Minecraft tier too. While I do think she dresses better than the other zombies in Egypt, she's also from the same time period. So, no. Still shower tier. This isn't on the list yet, by the way, but the Torch Kung Fu Zombie is, for some reason, in the middle of Pirate Seas. Your guess is as good as mine. Sheriff Gargantuar is next, and I almost want to say Minecraft tier, just because the bounty reminds me of being a bounty hunter working for Baroque Works from One Piece. Wow, that is incredible brain rot. Shower tier anyways. Shaman Zombie is also an interesting face, and I'll put him in the same tier. Honestly, it just makes no sense. The Kung Fu world is here, but most of these zombies appear in 2C, so we'll cover the rest of that game. But for now, the Sword Zombie goes in middle tier, along with the Kunai Zombie. The Journey to the West zombies also appear here, and some are remakes, but most are completely original. Western Zombie is a new face, and he's going in the middle tier. That goes with Walkhead Zombie, Rake Thrower Zombie, Spider Demon Imp, and Skeleton Demon Zombie. But as for the Bear Mountain Lord Gargantuar, shower tier. You should expect this. Okay, here's the other example of this game remaking old ideas. Frostbite Caves is a Viking world in this game. What? Okay, that's bold. But despite that, Viking Zombie itself is going in the shower tier because I watched Vinland Saga, and I understand that they probably smelled terrible. Dragon Zombie, Horn Zombie, and Dragon Rider Imp all follow suit because again, Vinland Saga taught me two things. 1, I have no enemies, and 2, I have one enemy, the stench of people who don't know what showers are. Dark Ages has a bunch of zombies that appear in 2C, so we'll skip it. And finally, there was a zombie removed from the game that was completely unique. Jam His Sow. He's going into Smells Fine tier because this guy is actually based off of a celebrity, and I'm pretty sure he cares about his looks. That's all. All-Stars was a journey for sure, but like all good journeys, it ends on a high note. So what happened with 2C? And why is it so long? Chinese Plants vs. Zombies is, in general, best known for two things. It's really weird plants and zombies, and 2C. 2C is the Chinese version of Plants vs. Zombies 2, and it is one of the most fascinating games I've ever played. That is not an exaggeration. It's the weirdest gacha I've laid my eyes on, and it seriously makes me wonder if this franchise is still alive to this day thanks to this game. That might seem like a joke, but I'm not kidding. It's huge. PVZ in China is already big, but this game at its peak was one of the most popular games in the entirety of China, which is wild. So there's bound to be a lot of zombies in it, and oh boy, there is. Of course, I have to do my obligatory rankings on all browncoats, all imps, and all gargantuars. These ones shouldn't be too shocking, and for the sake of my own sanity, I actively chose to not explain them, since there's so many zombies and so little time. So I apologize, but if you want to pause the video with all of these on screen, you can do so right now. The video's not going to go anywhere, so take all the time you want to see my thoughts on all of these units. And with that disclaimer out of the way, let's jump into the unique zombies of this game. I was dreading this, and I still do. Oh no. Our first unique set of zombies in this game are the Kung Fu Zombies, which I did briefly mention before in All-Stars, so these are going to be the ones that were either not in that game or were just not from All-Stars. And if I'm going to be completely honest, most of these zombies are going in the Minecraft tier. I wasn't really sure where to rank a lot of them individually, since many of them just seem sweaty. So that's the best word I have for it. The exceptions to this placement are Gunpowder Devil and Blade Wielding Hero. Those two go in the shower tier. They don't really need an explanation. Also, the Swordsman Zombie in this game is for some reason a completely different guy than the one in All-Stars. I'm not sure why. I just wanted to point it out anyways. Dark Ages has some unique zombies here, with Archmage, Cavalry, and Bandit Zombie all going in shower tier. This was the Middle Ages, and likewise, these people probably didn't have an easy way to take a shower if they were broke, so bummer. Big Wave Beach also has a unique zombie in the form of Shell Zombie, and honestly, after seeing the Dragon Palace zombies, I'm inclined to believe that the Shell Zombie takes some notes from them. So he also goes in shower tier. Frostbite Caves has some unique zombies, with all three going in shower tier. No explanation needed. Again, this time period was ancient, and the idea of a bath was even more ancient. Sky City is the next unique world up, and this world honestly had me really conflicted. On one hand, I wanted to say that the zombies here were advanced enough to smell at least only undead, but you have to imagine the fumes of their machinery, and all the gross implications that comes with, especially if you handle tech like that, and you know, you're a mechanic, and if you do that, you're going to be covered in grime. So this might be controversial, but every single zombie here goes in the shower tier, even the Zombot. It really is a time period that makes me decide this. It looks like it's around World War II or maybe the 60s at best, which is still not ideal. Lost City has two new zombies, Lost Doctor Zombie and Lost Guide Zombie. The former dresses really nicely, so he'll go in the browncoat tier, and the latter is Minecraft tier incarnate, let's be honest. Neon Mixtape Tour has one new zombie, Face Zombie, and I'm not gonna lie, the makeup goes raw, so he's going in browncoat tier for just being awesome, zero bias. Jurassic Marsh in this game is an experience, and even though I already ranked all three imps, I still wanted to mention that this is actually real, as crazy as it seems. Oh my god. And as for the final international world, Modern Day, Riot Police Zombie and Solar Car Zombie are the two new faces. Riot is going in top tier because No, I'm not explaining this one. And Solar Car Zombie is a solid fine tier, you have to remember, new tech and all that. But we're not done with the worlds just yet. We still have a couple of really interesting worlds unique to this game. Though sadly, I don't have a whole lot to say about any of them. Steam Ages is iconic nowadays, and besides Gentleman Zombie, every other zombie is in shower tier, even the Zombot. It just looks gross, honestly. Renaissance Age looks much more dapper, and to keep a long explanation short, Perfume Zombie and Ballerina Zombie both go in the bottom tier, with Glider Zombie going in middle tier. High in Age is also here, and I don't know how to explain my choices, just go with the flow. And now we're moving on to the Secret Realm Zombies, which is somehow different than the base game. Basically, Secret Realms are like PVZ2's Penny's Pursuit, but on crack. That's the best way I can describe it, so let's get started. The iconic Fairy Tale Forest is first, and I'm gonna be controversial here. Every zombie in top tier. I had the displeasure of actually playing this Secret Realm on stream. I wish I could erase it from my mind. These zombies suck. Haunting Halloween brought several unique zombies to the fray, with Zombie Crow, Pumpkin Ghost, and Pumpkin Night Zombie. Zombie Crow is in shower tier, Pumpkin Ghost in smells fine tier, and Pumpkin Night in shower tier. None of them need an explanation. There's a Chinese New Year realm, and Money Tree Zombie was born. I'm gonna put it in brown coat tier. It's a tree. Neon Beast Zombie is also around, but it's a shower tier immediately. I hate how that imp is dressed. Children's Play Park is a really unique realm as it celebrates Children's Day. There's only one zombie from the bunch that can be ranked on this list, and that's the Lollipop Zombie. You tell me what tier he's going in. Please enlighten me, I'm dying to know. Parkour Party is actually a collaboration between Subway Surfers and PVZ2C, and likewise, the only zombie that can be ranked on this list is going in bottom tier. I love it! And to round out the realms, Frostbite Cave's Resurgence makes veteran Frostbite Cave zombies all in top tier. Good god, that was a horrible idea. And finally, the Glacial Neon Beast Zombie goes in shower tier. Might be frozen, but the Elite Ice Weasel is frozen too. Don't test me. The rest of the zombies from here on out are just miscellaneous, so let's briefly run through them. To start, there's a bunch of Zombotany zombies that I honestly believe should all go in brown coat tier. They're not harming anybody. Plus, there's an electromagnetic shield generator zombie, so smells fine tier since it's not even really dead. The Disinfection Zombie also joins it in that tier since the zombie does everything in its power to clean. Zombot Mark II is technically a unique zombie, so it goes in the smells fine tier like the first Mark. And finally, Lion Dancer Zombie goes in the shower tier, God of Wealth goes into brown coat tier, and Ingot Thief Zombie goes in the Minecraft hoodie tier. What a list! This was just so brutal, and I kind of didn't know how to process it at first. But here we are. And unfortunately, we're not done. But let's take a brief break with... This section is not going to be as long as you think it'll be because most mini-program PVZ games have the exact same zombies that we know of. There's a lot of mini-programs that just don't have documentation on the internet, which is problematic to say the very least. So there's a pretty good chance that I'm missing a zombie here, which sucks, but it is what it is. In the end, we still have a few faces that we do know exist, so let's cover these. And they're all basically PVZ3 zombies. Yeah. Okay, so Unicorn Gargantuar, Fireball Zombie, Goalie Zombie, Zombie Mascot, Spotlight Zombie, and Rainbow Glitz are all the zombies from the 2020 beta of PVZ3. Here's a little bit of backstory for how they're even in these games. Basically, if you're not familiar with the dynamic between Chinese and international PVZ, the Chinese games can literally take whatever assets they want from the international titles. The international titles are not allowed to do the same. But because the Chinese titles can, you end up getting a lot of assets just kind of thrown into these games, especially the low quality mini program games. And in particular, PVZ3's assets really got used. So yeah, I'm sure you can make a connection as to how these got in the game now. With that being said, I don't have much to say about any of these zombies, so they'll all go in these tiers. Cool. But we do have one unique zombie that I could find, Hornet Imp. It's going in the shower tier, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it technically even exists is impressive to an extent. Like, I get the weird feeling that some of these games are borderline asset flips, which is insane, but regardless, consider this a break between two massive sections, because there was something I didn't cover in my last video that I regret now. This section isn't just Chinese zombies, but oh boy, it's a lot. So, let's dive into... I'm not proud to admit that I didn't know just how many promotional zombies there are. So with a franchise as big as PVZ, you can imagine that a lot of commercials and promotional material was made for the games and media. Well, some of those adverts include new zombies that were never put in the games. And I covered the comic book characters in my last video, so I think it's only fair game that we mention these now. And there's a lot. So let's get into it, reluctantly. Also, side note, I'm following the wiki order of these entries because that list is incredibly coherent and I can't be bothered to find out where all of the zombies come from. Okay, let's go. Vampire Imp is our first entry, and I can't imagine he smells any better than middle tier. Zombie Queens is just no. Shower tier. Zombagara is awesome though, so if it were somehow real, easily bottom tier for the swag. This next set is all from one poster, and I would say Metal Teeth Zombie is a brown coat tier, Suit Zombie Yeti and Eye Patch Imp are both shower tiers, Hazmat Zombie is in top tier for the implications alone, and the Cheerleader Zombie is in middle tier. Moving on, Invader Zombie is probably a brown coat tier shoo-in, and Tap Dancer Zombie is going in middle tier. Caveman Zombie is the easiest shower tier of all time, ever. Young Newspaper Zombie is looking especially dapper today, and lands in brown coat tier for that reason. Tan Zombie is a reference to that one PC meme from like 2010. Smells fine. Naked Zombie is going in the shower tier for just existing. Put some clothes on, man. Fly Zombie is freaky, and I want him gone, top tier. Chinese Straw Hat Zombie is going into brown coat tier. Sweaty Zombie Yeti desperately needs a bath. Dracula Zombie should definitely stop using axe to cover his stench. Suit Bungee Zombie is fancy, so he gets middle tier. T-Shirt Zombie is a really interesting one for the backstory alone, but for this video, brown coat tier works. Magician Zombie is really hard to get a good picture of, so I don't know, middle tier, I guess? 2019 Zombie is funny. It reminds me of when people post those stupid Happy New Year's 2014 videos and stuff. So because it's funny, bottom tier. Garden Gnome Zombie is an absolute classic that deserves some classic treatment of middle tier. Angel Zombie is... not just a boulder, it's a rock. So, smells fine. Beach Zombie is a middle tier for frying in the sun. Astronaut Zombie is giving Fortnite Battle Pass vibes and gets bottom tier for it. Artist Zombie is... well, to be honest, I'm not sure if it's real or not, but if it is, brown coat tier. Chicken Wizard is cursed and therefore gets top tier. Gamer Zombie follows suit because I can already tell what characters they play in Marvel Rivals and I don't like them. Bar Zombie is really blurry, sorry about that. It's probably middle tier for the cowboy aesthetic. DJ Zombie is also going to go in the middle tier since it works at raves and all that. Sheriff and Princess Zombie go together since they're both costume zombies on Halloween, so they'll get brown coat tier for the implications alone. Patient Zombie is also going in that tier since there's a doctor here that isn't really bothered by the fact that he's undead, which I kind of respect, so I can't imagine he smells horrible. Fun Flag Zombie is stupid, so he gets brown coat tier. Flower Zombie is stupider, it gets that tier too. Flag Imp is stupidest, and it gets shower tier too. The flag does not save you. Trucker Zombie is a weird one, but I guess it would go in middle tier since I've been around truckers, especially those who came back from a long drive, and they usually don't smell all that pleasant. Independence Day Flag Zombie and Independence Day Imp should be ranked together, and both are getting middle tier for their patriotism. St. Patrick's Day Zombie looks really funny, and I'm gonna put it in bottom tier because I just got a chuckle out of the design. Ghost Zombie is not a real ghost, so brown coat tier. Delivery Zombie just looks bleh, so middle tier. Roller Zombie gets that tier too, and Santa Balloon Zombie makes me seriously wonder if the Grinch was onto something. Sprinter Zombie is barely unique, but it's middle tier anyways. Fishing Zombie reminds me of you-know-who. Top tier. Barbecue Zombie is just Snorkel Zombie without the snorkel, so it gets middle tier. Blue Jumpsuit Dancer Zombie is really feeling his groove, and I respect it, but dude, you gotta go middle tier, I'm sorry. Classy Zombie goes into brown coat tier for his posh attitude and luxurious looks. Rodeo Zombie goes in yeehaw tier. wherever I'm putting that on this list. So is Radio Imp, in fact. Bottom tier for the Bjorn cameo, let's go. Firefighter Zombie is getting middle tier for his hard work. Sunflower Zombie, not Sunflower Imp, is terrifying. Top tier. There's a 2015 calendar that I decided to rank separately since it has 12 unique zombies. So here's that list if you want to see it. Greaser Imp is a cool middle tier. There's a difference, I promise. Z-Hawk Zombie is really interesting, and it gets middle tier anyways. Sorry, I just can't have a bias for every zombie. Buckle Conehead says 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Top tier for that joke. I'm immensely ashamed of myself. Mom Zombie baked you some cookies with brains in them, so undead tier for her kindness. Aww. Painter Zombie artistically reaches his goal of Bronco tier. Disco Imps get middle tier solely because of their aura. Bandana Cowboy Zombie goes in... I don't have a second yeehaw on me. Costume Zombies is general? Okay, Bronco tier for the lot of them, I guess. I don't know. God had no hand in creating Balloon Head Zombie, and as a creation of horror, it gets top tier. Big Head Viking is middle tier, no explanation needed. Giant Walnut Zombie impresses me so much that it gets bottom tier. Tiki Head Zombie is also cursed, but not so bad, Bronco tier. Bjorn Zombie is peak, so it gets bottom tier. Pilot Zombie is kinda cool, so middle tier I guess. Chinese New Year Zombie shouldn't be confused with the other Chinese New Year zombies, and it gets Bronco tier. Green Sweater Zombie kinda frustrates me because it's not really a unique zombie, but it also technically is. So middle tier, but again, it makes me mad. Space Needle Conehead is inherently funny, so Bronco tier. Santa Treasure Yeti is stinky. Santa Basic Zombie is a Broncote. Android Zombies is such a broad term, but I'll put the whole group in top tier because I use Apple products, the better ones. Hard Hat Zombies are hard at work on building middle tier up. Lone Dolphin Zombie does not count for this list, sorry. This is literally the dolphin, I ranked it last time. Construction Worker Zombie is barely different than the Hard Hats, so it gets the same tier. Both Scooter Zombie and Zombie Pig get the shower tier for their association. Brain Exchange Zombie is a Browncoat, but this is starting to get a little bit absurd. Come on, it's not that different to a Flag Zombie, but we continue. The next 3 zombies are all based off of Alice in Wonderland, which is honestly really cool. I'm putting them all in bottom tier, just because I'm kind of biased and I love the creativity. Sunglasses Zombie is pretty cool. Still gets Bronco tier though. Skier Zombie is the face of All-Stars nowadays, so like middle tier. Skipping Android Bag Zombie, you should already know where that goes, even if it was unique. Fruit Headdress Zombie is gonna go in middle tier because I'm pretty sure the costume inspiration is typically used for dancing too. Cooking Zombie is making me hungry, bottom tier. Tuxedo Zombie looks like a pimp, so bottom tier for making me laugh. Skiing Zombie is... I've played these games before. The Masked Vigilante Zombie is super goofy, so it also gets middle tier. Zombie Mouth Rules Flag. No, I'm not ranking another Flag Zombie. Stop. Just like the Stop Zombie Mouth t-shirt. What do you think? Some of these are just absurd. Like Toothbrush Zombie. I mean, bottom tier for cleanliness, but come on. Roller Imp and Roller Zombie Yeti get shower tier. Santa Zombie didn't give himself the gift of deodorant. Santa Zombie Yeti shouldn't have used coal as gifts. Shorty Imp actually made me laugh way harder than I thought it would when I first saw it, so another biased bottom tier pick. Daredevil Imp knows no bounds and gets shot into shower tier. Here's the ranking on every single Chinese New Year celebration zombie. I'm not giving them the time of day. Franken Zombie is spooky. So Bronco tier, I guess. Top Hat Zombie goes there too. We just had a discussion about the Bunny Suit Imp, so guess where this one goes. And finally, White T-Shirt Zombie is like the first promo zombie I know of, and it goes in middle tier because look at the shirt itself, yuckers. So that's all the promotional zombies I could find. Some were already in my last video, but I figured they should be given a proper chance here, especially since I covered most of the Chinese zombies too. But with that being said, we still have just a little bit more before we end the video. These being... I'm gonna be so honest, even after covering nearly 900 zombies in the 2 videos I've done on this topic, I still feel like I missed a few. And in particular, there's an honorable mention group that I didn't discuss anywhere else because I questioned the validity of them even counting. but they do appear in some adverts, which therefore makes them fair game. A little bit of backstory for this odd group of zombies. So, Plants vs. Zombies All-Star, as you can see in that section, was very experimental with the zombies they put in the game. They flat out remade some concepts of stuff like Jurassic Marsh and made it their own. Stuff like that is pretty interesting in my opinion. And they were also willing to go further because an Arabian world was once planned for the game. Now, while I've been against putting concept zombies into sorts in these two videos, these ones were actually shown to the public multiple times. This world was, by all accounts, gonna be in the game at some point, which is what leads me to the zombies themselves. Honestly, after everything I've done, I wouldn't even know where to rank these. So instead of me ranking them, I'll let you guys decide in the comments. Except the genie, he's probably going in the bottom tier because he's a spirit. I think. Still though, I'm not really interested. Also, this is incredibly off topic, but it's still interesting. All-Stars has like 50 plus unused and cut plants, and half of them are completely unique to this game, which is so insane to me. Like, this game has a treasure trove of unused content, jeez. But with that, I think it's safe to say the video is over now. I'm absolutely exhausted if I'm going to be completely honest with you. After all this time, and after every zombie I've ranked, I'm feeling burnt out on looking at most zombies. But it was still really fun looking through these and giving my thoughts on most of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this little two-parter as well, and if you couldn't tell with this video, this is a new editing software. Oh joy, that's been fun to figure out. Also, once again, thank you all for 50k subscribers, now 65k, that's the reason these videos even exist. It's been rough for me recently, and your guys' support has been genuinely helping me to keep pushing onwards, so thank you all. But if you happen to be new around here, and you like what you saw, then maybe consider subscribing too. It helped me out a ton, and you get to see more content like this from me in the future, so that's pretty cool. Oh, and also, I'd like to give a big shout out to my Extra Y-Side channel members, those being Dan B, Deggy, Envious, Eric Hero, Glitch into Code 867, Johnny Homeowner, Nicholas Vankowski, Mop, and Song. Along with my normal YSI members, thank you all so much for your continued support, y'all rock. And now, as for me here, I'm gonna go play Marvel Rivals, I guess. That's been fun. So, see y'all later. Happy New Year and peace.